today I thought we'd do something a little fun. Today, what I wanted to film is something that I hope will help me. As I was looking these things up, I went, yep, I still want them. So I don't know if this kind of video is going to be helpful. I'm curious about it. So today we're going to talk about makeup that I wanted so badly. Makeup that I almost bought but didn't buy. And I want to go through the reasons why I want it, why I didn't buy it, what's up with my feelings about it. I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting to see like why I didn't actually pull the trigger, because all of these things I think empirically, all of these things, I look at them and I'm like, they're gorgeous. They're stupendously beautiful. And so let's see why I didn't end up getting them. Okay, we're going to do a very professional thing here. I'm scooting over to the side so that I can give myself room to edit in a picture of what I'm talking about later. All right, so first up is the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette. It's super pretty. It's right up my alley in that it is neutrals. We've got a lot of purpley choices in here, which I think is really nice for brown eyes. And also, I just kind of like that on my coloring. A lot of textures and things to deepen up looks, to add a lot of sparkle and a lot of interest. I mean, I think it's incredibly pretty. The reason that I ended up talking myself out of it, good for me, was, okay, number one, it's the price, right? It's a $69 palette. And I've spent that on palettes that I've really wanted. I've spent more than that on makeup that I really wanted. But I'm like, do I really want this? It's super pretty. I love the color story, and I really love the point of view of a color story. You know, if someone is releasing a product, I like to see like what they're thinking about, what makes sense about the colors that they've paired together. Like, what is this about? What is this story that you're trying to tell? And I think it's great. I think it's right on the money. The thing that makes me not want to get this, so it's called Pretty Grunge, right? So we have a little bit of a wordplay name, like it's pretty grunge, but it's also pretty and it's also grunge. So I'm like, did I need that? Did I need that cutesy wordplay? I don't think so. I could get past that though, because I am a reasonable woman. The names, okay? This is another thing that's like curb appeal. You know what I mean? Like, does this make me want to pick it up? I don't particularly like the font on the front. I don't like the way the palette looks exactly on the outside. So I'm like, okay, in my collection of like a ton of things that I have, is it plausible that I'm going to be picking this up if I don't like the way it looks on the outside? So very practical reason. The names. Another thing about curb appeal is like the names of the colors. Again, what story are you telling? So we have Rise Up, Stand Up, Strong AF, Rebel, but like rebel, rebel spelled with an extra L-E, so like a female rebel, I guess, in French. Love Anarchy, L-U-V. Like, I'm like, Beauty Chaos. What does it mean? What does it mean? Beauty Chaos? What? It's a little bit like corny. I think that's what it is. It's like, it's kind of corny. I'm like, I wish the branding was a little bit more interesting to me. And so this is the thing, right? Like, I can afford to be picky with the things that I want to bring into my home. It's almost better, I think, that I'm finding reasons why I would want to be picky about it, why I would not want to add another thing to my collection, because it helps sharpen my eye and it helps me to define my own taste. I think this was pretty popular when it came out, and a lot of beautiful looks. A lot of people were doing super beautiful looks with it. This color story is beautiful, but the whole item itself is not for me. So that ended up being an easy pass. When I first saw it, I was like, oh God, I love it. As I looked closer, I was like, it's aight. So, okay, I can close that window. I can close that chapter. Ooh, next one. This is very difficult. This is an indie brand called Ensley Rain. And they came out with something, I think it was the day after Christmas. They came out with a palette called Cold Moon. So I've seen a lot of swatches and a lot of looks online from this brand. I've never tried anything from this brand myself. A lot of their palettes, like the actual shadows themselves, looked incredible. The artwork on the palettes I think is cool. For me, there are two reasons why I'd never purchased anything from this brand before. One is that the palettes are expensive, right? They're like 80 bucks a palette, something like that. This one that I'm looking at, Cold Moon, is $72. And so I'm like, okay, you do get a lot of shadows, but that's another thing, is that in each palette, you get a shit ton of eyeshadow. And a lot of the palettes that I'd seen before looked very busy to me. Busy in a way that made me feel overwhelmed, as opposed to like, wow, look at all this choice. Look at all of these beautiful textures that I get to play with. So this was the first one that I saw where I was super interested in the color story. I love these kind of foggy colors. The mauves and the concretes and the fogs and the quarry kind of colors, the quarry, can I say that? Quarry? These kind of wintry colors. I'm a winter heart, love winter. It has a lot of gray sort of undertones. The colors are very muted. I love it. I look at it and I'm like, this is so beautiful. And the really reflective colors, I'm just like, I want to fall into this palette face first. The reason why I didn't get it when it launched, I mean, there's really like one main reason why I didn't get it, because I was like, when I saw it, I was like, this is the color story for me. If I were to get something from this brand, it would be this palette, right? So as I started watching the videos and seeing people who got it in PR, seeing like the looks they were creating, I was like, yes, everything beautiful. But then they were going through the whole collection. So the Cold Moon collection is not just this palette. It's lip glosses, it's something else. You get the palette, you get a lip gloss, you get a glitter primer, but you also get a bunch of single shadows. So you get 7 single shadows and also maybe 6 loose shadows, which I have no problem with. I'm here for all the textures, give me it. The problem is, I was like, okay, I want this palette, but then a lot of looks that I was seeing were also including these extra things. So they were including the single shadows, they were including the loose shadows, they were including the lip gloss and all of these things. And I was like, can I actually get the vibe that I'm looking for with just the palette? Or is it this whole collection that is the thing? Am I gonna feel left out of the party if I don't get the whole collection? The whole collection is $245. You get a lot of makeup with it, but I'm like, do I want a lot of makeup? And also we have the sort of secondary reason, which is like the full collection versus the palette only gave me pause. But also, I've never tried anything from this brand. Nothing has really appealed to me from this brand, but this really does. And everything I've heard about this brand, everyone who's tried it has said that the shadows are really beautiful, it's expensive, but it's worth it, quote, you know, if that's what you want to spend your money on. And I'm like, okay, if I get one thing, I didn't want to flip the switch to on. And what I mean by that is, I don't know anything about this brand, but I'm sure when I got one piece of makeup, or if I chose to get the whole collection, then I would be super into it. So then my eye would be on this brand. Would I then be checking for things that they would release later? Would I feel compelled to get things that they had released before? That's what I mean by flipping the switch to on. Am I turning on the machine? Like, I know how this goes. I get excited about something and I hit the gas. And so I'm like, do I want to do that right now? And I mean, I'm looking at it right now and it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts. I mean, I just think it looks gorgeous. but it just seems like the party that I want to attend can only be obtained if I spend $250 on makeup from a brand that I've never tried, that all signs are pointing to I'd be really into and I'd probably want more. Like, getting this, I don't think would make me want less or make me feel content now that I had this. I think that it would make me want more. So I'm like, you know, it makes me feel stressed out. So I'm just gonna pause. And a lot of times too with these like independent brands, it's like, you know, sometimes you miss out. Sometimes things are not produced forever. Like, if I decide that I want this in a year or two, are they still going to make this whole collection at the, you know, quote, discounted price? There's always this chance that the party will be over by the time I want to go. It's stressful either way. It's just making me feel more stressed to think about getting interested in something else that is super expensive. Okay. All right, that hurt. Let's go to this next one. Oh my gosh, I have gone back and forth on this next one more times than I thought, actually. I didn't think that I was that torn about this one. This is the Danessa Myricks Lightwork 5 I Am palette for eyes and face. She has released different versions of a colorful, highly textured, artistic palette. I have number 4. Okay, which is this guy right here. And this looks like the most delicious, juicy candy box to me that I just want to dive in face first. Great, so I have this. I bought this only a few months ago. Then she came out with Lightwork 5. So the lore, I've heard on the street of the internet that the feedback she got about this palette was that it was very colorful. Some of the textures were harder to work with. And then a few months later, she released this one. So it has more natural, quote, a lot of quotes again in this video, natural, more grounded colors that are more sheer, still really, really sparkly, but sheer, so you can wear them as highlighters, things like that. Immediately when I saw this palette, I was like, no, I don't like the way it's laid out. I don't like the split pan look. When I look at this palette and the color story of the palette, I'm like, mine's the winner, hands down, all the way. I love looking at this palette. I think it looks like jewels. I even like looking at the outside of this one. Like, it's like a holographic purple. It's very pretty. So when I saw this, I was like, cool, easy pass. I have mine. And then, what is it? I probably started watching content about it or seeing people mention it or something like that. But then I was like, ooh, I love the sheer textures in here. And I love the fact that this one has more neutral, deeper colors. The deep colors in here are very colorful. So they're like, you know, this blue reflecting purple. This doesn't really go on that deep. In order to deepen up this palette, you would need a black or some richer colors that have maybe more colorful shifts, like the color she has on the bottom row here. Then I started to feel the ache and I was like, oh God. It's in my cart right now. My Sephora cart. She doesn't come out with duds. I'm sure this palette, if I saw it in person, I'm sure it would be beautiful. It's $125, and only a few months ago I got the earlier version, which was also $125, and buying it felt like such a treasure to me, and I was so excited, and I still am excited looking at it. I find it hard to hold on to my excitement sometimes when I'm seeing other people who are getting newer products, like, be attached to those. And I think makeup videos and makeup content for me are really community. I love seeing people who are into the same things that I'm into, and I'm like, wait, you're interested in this new thing? I want to play, you know, like, that's how I feel. When I'm looking at my palette versus this, especially the swatches, I'm like, okay, there are a lot of colors that I prefer in my palette. The thing that I think that this newer Lightwork 5 palette would give me would be the neutral colors and the sheer colors. But I have those in single eyeshadows. I have sheer colors. No doubt, if I had this in front of me, I think I would be thrilled. I have a feeling that the pictures online don't do it the most justice, but I'm very thankful for that. Especially just this middle row in the split pans. It just doesn't look so appealing to my eye, and I have to just let myself accept that. Thankfully, my Sephora doesn't sell this in person, or else I'd be tripping out trying to look at it and touch all on it. So yeah, I've said no to that palette as of right now, but if I get a Sephora gift card, I'm gonna be acting a fool. I'm gonna be acting a fool and maybe getting a $125 palette. Oh, also is that I know that part of the like anguish that I'm feeling about not having this palette is that these palettes are limited edition. I mean, when she says limited edition, homie, she means it. I was seeing content about this 9 months ago, and then this came out, Lightworks 5 came out like 3 months ago. So I'm like, the release of a $125 palette every 6 months, and then there's no overlap. You either buy it because you're afraid that it's gonna run out and you're not gonna have a chance to get it, or you wait for the next one and see if you like the next one better. Like, it's like too much for my heart. It's too much for my heart and soul. I need more than 6 months to be able to have a chance to enjoy my things. Danessa, I think you're doing great work, but this one hurts. So I'm just gonna say good day to it for now. But yeah, like I said, if I get a gift card. Okay, so this next one, ooh, okay. Prada just launched their beauty line, and it's gorgeous. The packaging, lovely. If you're like me and have never considered buying a Prada anything, for $80, you can have the Prada logo, i.e. status, on a beautifully crafted, looks like metal eyeshadow palette. It's refillable, so you can buy, I think they're like $65 maybe, the refills. Once you presumably run out of eyeshadow, or I guess you want a different color story or something. Let me check the price. Yeah, $65. I wasn't particularly interested, I think because I'm not interested in this kind of quad presentation. I don't know that I'm ever looking to carry a quad of eyeshadows with me like this, but there's something about this, and I think this is the real thing that's kind of working for designer makeup brands right now, and fashion houses coming out with beauty brands, is that people who have maybe never considered or never been able to afford like a purse or a piece of clothing, an accessory from one of these brands, now you have the label for under $100, and that feels like something that's accessible. But what I'm looking at is an $80 quad of eyeshadows, $80 for 4 eyeshadows and the Prada logo. That's what I'm paying for. They look stunning, especially this pink and green color story. This is what I'm into. It's called Poetry, of course, sure. Like, give me a romantic name, please. I mean, you want to talk about curb appeal? They nailed it. They absolutely nailed it with this. This is like beyond. It almost looks like a collector's item or something. Like, I was around when Prada came out with their first beauty launch, and then you have this beautiful palette. Also, the close-up shots of the eyeshadow looks that they've done, incredibly beautiful. I've heard nothing but good things about this launch. And the launch is very small. I love that. It only has a few products. I mean, the reason that I'm not getting it is because, honestly, because I saw like 3 color stories that I was into. This green and pink called Poetry. Weirdly, this blue one that did not appeal to me at all. And then I looked deeper at it and I was like, hold on, I like it. And then this weird color story called Profusion with this chartreuse in it. And I think a black and silver and a taupe. Also this red one with this shimmery taupe in it and a burgundy and like a mauve. What? Pulse. That's what that one's called. Gorgeous. They're gorgeous. But then I thinking about them all as a collection that I want, right? I identified 4 color stories that I'm super into. So now I'm not just thinking about one special item that I could treat myself for $80. I'm thinking about 4. That's $320 that I'm now thinking about. My brain is attaching all of these color stories, these little collections, to one another. Now, to get one of them or 2 of them feels like the story is incomplete. Does that make sense? Like, I picked out 4 that I like. If I don't want to spend $320 on eyeshadow, now I have to think about taking away. And so that feels like less than, as opposed to just treating myself to something. Also, I really scoffed when I saw $80 for an eyeshadow palette. I was like, I don't want to. It made me go, okay, hold on, let me take a pause. Do I need the Prada logo this bad? I don't think I do. It just feels like something luxurious and feels like something prestigious. But like the color stories, this Kelly green and this pink, I know I have colors like that in my collection because I really like those colors. I'm like, I know they're there. So I can put something together that can bring forth a look like this, and I won't feel like I'm being left out of the party. So I had to just take a pause and be like, do I want something that's Prada, like, so bad? I'd probably want a Prada bag. You know what I mean? I probably want a purse or something. But, I mean, they all look gorgeous. What am I saying? Like, they look gorgeous. Yeah. I don't even want to say I'm not buying them right now. It's just that's what it is. Okay, so this one is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautyverse palette, her Christmas palette for 2023. I saw an Andrea Ali video and she did the makeup that she was wearing. I was like, what is she wearing on her eyes? It looks so beautiful. It was very neutral, but then it had a little something. She mentioned that she was wearing this palette and it was one of her favorites of 2023, and I was like, oh! And so I put it in my cart at Sephora, and it's pretty, and Charlotte Tilbury has the most beautiful reflective shadows. I have 2 of them in little individual compacts. I don't know that I love this color story. I love the shimmers. I love that there's like a lavender shimmer. You have different kinds of neutrals in there, but then the mattes are very confusing to me. We have like a cooler taupey brown, we have a caramely brown, we have a deeper chocolatey brown, and then we have a matte pink. I wanted this to lean a little farther in the colorful department. A deep matte teal would have been cool here. It just kind of seems like every look you're gonna get with this is gonna be neutral with a shimmer, and I'm not against that. I'm very pro that. But I also have like the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. That is very similar to this. This is just a tiny bit more colorful. I mean, if somebody gave this to me, I wouldn't say no to it. I would say a very emphatic yes to it. It's $75. Like, my God, me and my champagne taste. It's super pretty, but the palettes that I want the most are $125 and $75. So that's $200. And I'm just like, gee whiz. And also, I've done this thing too. This palette and the Danessa Myricks palette have been in my Sephora cart for long enough to where they have fused together in my mind. Like, I want both of them together, or I don't want either of them. Only getting one of these feels like I'm taking something away. So they've already come together as family in my cart. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I'm just like, okay, getting this $75 worth of makeup means that I would want to get $200. And there's just so many things that I want all the time. I think that's the thing too, is like, there's so many things that I want all the time. And all of it ends up being like hundreds of dollars. We should do a total. We should do a tally of how much, if I actually bought all of this stuff, like how much it would have been. Is that going to depress me? Am I getting depressed right now? Am I getting sad? Is that going to make me feel upset? Am I getting upset right now? Maybe a little. I'm starting to feel dejected. I'm going to need some candy. Okay, bye, Charlotte. Thank you. Okay, this next one, I'm going to tell you exactly why I didn't buy it. Once again, two reasons. Two reasons that might turn into four reasons, who knows. This Kung Fu Panda gift set from Tower 28, it's not sold at Sephora anymore. And the last I checked, when I was actually this close to buying it, it was at Sephora, but it was sold out. And I was like, okay, all right. Like, I felt relieved. The set that was sold at Sephora was just the blush and the lip gloss. They have a lovely cream blush formula at Tower 28. I have a color, I think it's called Power Hour. It's this beautiful, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a warm, smoky plum color. It is awesome. Oh my gosh, I need to pull that out. So they came out with this red, like this juicy, sheer cherry red color called Dumpling Hour. Isn't that cute? But the thing that made me pause was that I didn't want the lip gloss. So Tower 28 is a clean beauty brand. Their products are sort of notorious for not lasting very long. They have a shelf life of like 6 months or 12 months. And I mean, they cut out right at that time. The lip glosses I've seen, they change color, they change texture. This lip gloss in particular is not exclusive to this collection. This color, I think it's called Magic. Yeah. And it's a clear lip gloss with gold glitter in it. I've seen pictures where this has turned like green. It's just because the lip gloss has gone bad within the time that it has specified that it was gonna go bad in. So nothing against them. I just don't think they use like maybe like hardcore preservatives or something. And that might not be a bad thing, but I already have 2 lip glosses from them, and I already have this gorgeous blush that I love so much. I'm not looking to add more products that aren't gonna last very long. You know what I mean? Especially the lip gloss. The blush I would do. The blush I would have bought. But the lip gloss, I was like, I don't want this at all. Like, I don't want this in my collection. I have plenty of sparkly gold gloss, sparkly beigey glosses. I'm wearing one right now, my favorite Vive Lip Dew. Like, I have glosses that I really love in this kind of vein that for me it would just be a waste to purchase this. But it was already sold out on Sephora, so I didn't buy it. I was having a weak moment. But then this is still sold out too. But then I go to Tower 28 so that I can actually get a picture of it to put in the video to show you. And they have a whole set with the blush, the lip gloss, a little panda headband for when you're doing your face and your skincare. One of their sprays, they have this like proprietary kind of skincare spray. I have one, but they have it with a little panda on it, chopsticks, and a dumpling steamer, like that you can actually use in the kitchen. And I'm like, this is so cute. And I want a steamer. I want a bamboo steamer. I'm so easy. I'm so easy to sell to. Thank God this is sold out. They're selling me kitchenware. They're selling me blush. They're selling me a lip gloss that I don't want, but I don't care because I would have panda ears on. You guys, thank God this is sold out. And we're just going to leave it at that. Okay, is this the last one? Is this the last one? Because my soul is hurting. Yeah, it is. Okay, this is the very last one. These are, because I would have bought multiple. Already, we're starting off. We're starting off hot. These are the Yeux paints from Violette FR. Okay, so Violette, she has a wonderful library of beautiful YouTube videos. Just like highly produced, very short, very easy, accessible makeup looks, and she makes them like very sexy. She has a beautiful Parisian accent, and she came out with a makeup line. I have a number of products from this line. I have a number of Yeux paints, but the colors in particular that really are stirring me right now, I have to say, are this beautiful Yves Klein blue called Dieu Bleu and this lavender Nuage de Lilas. And I want them. I want them really bad. So here's the reason that I didn't buy them. They're $31 each. They are, in my opinion, very easy to use. Her whole ethos is like being able to throw something in your purse and touch up at the bar you go to after work, or like you're on a date and you go into the bathroom, you have something that's easy to touch up with or easy to pump up your look if you're going from day to night or something like that. Something you can just do on the go. I really love it, actually. I might go and watch some of her videos after I stop filming. So this blue and this lavender. The blue and the lavender made me then go, what other colors do I have in her twinkling texture, in the texture with the sparkles in it? I'm like, I don't have this purple, Violette Sauvage. I don't have this magenta, this Rêve de Dahlia. I don't have this, and that, right? So now I want 4 colors. I want a collection of things. I don't just want the 1 or the 2. I want them all to come together. I want to look at all of them together. I'm imagining looking at them in a, sort of making my own palette of these single liquid eyeshadows, going from this bright blue to this twinkling purple to this twinkling magenta to this matte lavender. I'm already lifestyling it, I'm putting this together in my life about I will then be this woman who just throws something in her bag and then I forget that it's there and I look at it later when I'm about to go out and I'm like, oh, I have the perfect thing. I'm this effortless, chic woman. And I do think that that is the branding of this brand. This is the kind of heart that she is speaking to. The branding is very relatable and aspirational. It speaks to an ease of use that I think we all kind of want. We all kind of want to just take one thing and put it on and then all of a sudden we're a magical creature. We already are magical creatures, but this like amplifies. This would amplify the magic, right? I think it speaks to an ease that we all want in makeup. And I think it also speaks to the mysterious and magical and sensual creatures that we want to be if we don't already recognize that we are. All we have to do is buy 1 or 4 of these products and then we'll get that. I mean, I just think they're beautiful objects on their own. This beautiful simple tube, the font, the gold insignia on the top of the tube, like they're beautiful objects. Also, seeing these colors made me realize that I bought colors of this before I really saw something that I loved. So I think that's a little bit of it, is I'm like, oh, I'm finally seeing something that I really love that I think would look really good on me, not like the ones that I have. So again, I'm feeling kind of stressed. just stressing me out, man. Yeah, but that's why I didn't buy those. I do have a feeling that at some point I will get more colors of these. Oh, and Poison de Délice, this deep, I forgot about this one. This like deep burgundy color. I wanted that one too, so I wanted 5. I gotta go to bed. I gotta lay down after this video. There's so much that I want. There are things that I want and it hurts that I don't have them. I don't even feel like tallying it up. Maybe I'll do it in editing. I probably won't. You can add it up. Anyway, I thought doing this video would make me feel better than it has. It hasn't made me feel better. It just makes me go, oh man. So anyway, what this tells me, do I feel like I've grown as a person doing this video? I don't think so. I can't round this video out with any big lessons that I've learned. It really just makes me want to throw something. I hope you enjoyed this. What did you get out of it? comments down below. Maybe tell me something that you wanted that you didn't get, and if you feel really good about it, because right now I'm feeling just spent. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully the next video will go better. I'm like ready to flip a table and just buy everything in the world. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. I hope that you got something out of this, and I will see you in the next video. Later, skaters.